Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We're back on the dev server, and guess what? They updated it again. So we're going to be having a look at a bunch of changes that have come into this one to kind of show you what's going on. Just for some of the things that haven't changed, that people have been asking about, first of all, the Bismarck's armor hasn't changed. So this is still the same. Can't really tell what's going to be happening with it. But yeah, that's something that people always kept clamoring about, so thought I'd just let you know. They have fixed the test drive, so you can actually use it without crashing now, so that's pretty cool. But let's get into some of the other changes. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. First of all, this vehicle got a name change. The Claude's TADS now. It is the Clause Target Acquisition and also Designation System, the M120C-A2. So quite a mouthful when it comes to stuff. And also, they did change something with all of the different launchers that exist. So two changes right now, at least from what I can tell. The number one change is when it comes to actually spawning vehicles. You can't do it too far away now. So you can see that they've actually limited it in terms of where you can do it. So you can't just like chuck it over a hill over there, which is what we were showing before. Now it's like super limited to basically be about 10, 15, 20 meters away from you in this little area. Now, another thing to also mention is right now with some of the vehicles that have active radar homing missiles. So for example, the Slam Ram that you see here, you don't actually need to lock on it. It'll just do it for you. And I don't know if that is like an actual thing that they're designed to do, or if it's something that, you know, they wanted to set up. By the way, the AIM-9X is still not working. So yeah, that's unfortunate. But another thing, this radar on this vehicle is working a bit better than it was previously. And you can see I'm not actually using the MB5 button to lock the target. It is auto-locking it with the active radar homing missile. So I don't know whether that's just because it just straight up missed. I don't know whether that is because the machine is in range of its actual seeker head, or if there's another reason for that. But yeah, so big changes are you can't just throw this thing as far away as you want, and also the auto lock, which is there on the vehicle. This is not just for this one, by the way. This is also, as I said, for stuff like the IRIST, which is in the German tech tree. Talking about the German tech tree and also other tech trees, there is a change, which I know a lot of high-tip people will be very happy about. So you know how they were adding basically AIM-120Cs to everybody? Well, the Eurofighter also gets them. So you get some Bs that you can see right here, and then you also get the Cs. They have also updated the model of it, so I thought I'd kind of show you that too, since I know a lot of people are interested in that. Before it was using just the B model, but you can see here, AIM-120C, Cerno CCO243, so it's pretty cool. And the amount of detail that they actually put into these things is really awesome, like even like down to the serial number and stuff like that. So yeah, the Eurofighters have the AIM-120Cs along with the Bs too, and basically if you have a look at its modifications, if I can click the right button here, they've now added the modification for the AIM-120C. So pretty much all the top tier bangers are getting access to this. It isn't just going to be the Americans. It looks like it's going to be pretty much anything that's on the Western side of stuff. Obviously, on the USSR side of stuff, that isn't there. So next change, PT95, the Great Leviathan of Update Leviathans. This one now has depth charges. So they added some little boys to it, which is really cool. So you can bring along 6 depth charges if you want. When the submarines come into the game, this stuff will finally become at least slightly useful. So it'll be nice to see it when it turns up. The next thing to show is the Yak-28. So the Yak-28, which is in the Soviet tech tree. It's in the bomber line right here. They've actually removed something that's gonna kind of hurt it quite a lot. So it doesn't have access, or at least it shouldn't have access to its CCIP, but it still does. Basically, the CCIP for bombs is being removed according to the changelog. Right now, it still has it, but my guess is it will be removed later on, and that just kind of sucks because it means that it's not going to be as useful, especially when dropping the big old bombs that are around the place. It could also be for the... Oh no, it has to be for the Act 28, sorry. Talking about some other changes, so the G4M1, this is another vehicle for the Japanese that is getting access to EFS. If you haven't been keeping up with Japanese vehicles, a million of them have been getting like EFS recently, like you can see here on the D4Y. So the G4M1 gets EFS, and then also the funny boy, the F1M2, that I feel like hasn't had changes in years. This one actually also is getting EFS. So you have to kind of grind that out, which won't be very fun. A graphical change, which is also coming in, and this has been since the start, frame generation. So they're adding in frame generation basically to War Thunder. I can go into this a little bit in more detail later on, but basically see it as like an improved version of like DLSS, where the computer sees the frame that you're using, and then it basically recreates future frames from what your frame sees. So therefore, it kind of predicts what's going to happen, and then goes from there. Right? It can be much more technical. I will go into it if people want me to, but that's basically it. It's a way of boosting your frame rate and doing it through spoofing, which, you know, it's basically the more common technology nowadays, unfortunately. So they're adding in DLSS frame generation, FSR frame generation, and also XESS frame generation technologies, so you can see all of these things. There was also a bug report that was approved for the Mirage III SC70, so this one will probably get changed at some point. Basically, the RWR got changed. So you can see here, it uses the AN/ALR 87, which is quite cool because it's a pretty strong RWR for something that's at 10.3. The Falcon also isn't fixed, so it's still not working yet. I wish I could show it to you, but it isn't working. The other one which also still isn't working is the F2A and its anti-ship missiles. So these ones still aren't working. You know, there's nothing going on with them. I can't get them to work, either of them, and hopefully we can maybe get the IR ones at some point, so that would be kind of funny, but unfortunately no, they're not there yet. And also what I wanted to do, now that the test drive is working, I wanted to show you the fire rates of the guns, which they changed. So first of all, the CSSA-5, this one went from 3,000 rounds per minute to 4,000 rounds, so a massive kind of increase. It only has 500 rounds of ammo, so you're going to go through it pretty quickly. This thing also has a really powerful radar. Like you can see here, like the amount of targets that we actually have like looked at is really cool. They haven't actually fixed the missiles yet, by the way. So this is kind of the fire rate now. You can see it just like annihilate stuff. So you're not going to need like a long burst of damage to be able to hit things. Like that's not going to be required anymore. And hopefully they can fix the missiles so they're actually the FP10s instead of just the HNs, which are basically there right now. So yeah, you can see just the density of fire that this thing has. It's just absolutely crazy in terms of it. So it's really nice that they're adding in like this vehicle. I just hope that soon it actually has its proper setup. But yeah, just to give you an idea, it's pretty nuts. So you're going to have to control the fire rate pretty aggressively on this thing, otherwise it's just going to lose all of its rounds. The last one is the Badger. So this one used to have a 200 RPM, now it only has 100. So massive loss on the Badger, unfortunately. So it acts way more like the Warrior now. So yeah, kind of sucks, right? Like it still has the track IRST, so you can still shoot down aircraft, but yeah, it's the fire rate is so much worse than it was previously, and that just kind of makes me sad because it was one of the things I was looking forward to for this thing. But now it makes sense that it's around 9.0 because of that fire rate. I don't know what it is about like vehicles now, but yeah, just very, very slow fire rate. on them. The warrior, the standard warrior, is 80 rounds per minute, and this one is 100 rounds a minute. So this one is slightly faster, but nothing too crazy. And that kind of sucks. I wish it was I wish it was a little bit better. But c'est la vie, what can you do? Those are some of the changes that have come in this last update on the dev server. So if there are any more, I'll make sure to let you know, as always. And hopefully you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.
I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecovo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Warthunder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.